Hello everyone, my name is John and I'm a volunteer with the Global Consciousness Project. I've been working on a project that involves conversion of GCP data into music. So what you're seeing here is an expansion on the GCP2MIDI project that I've been patching together in PureData. The first version of this patch had only a single channel output, but I have now extended it to multiple channels, specifically 3 channels at first. So let me just show you what that looks like. For this purpose, I've set up this simple MIDI channel arrangement in Reaper, which allows me to do some fairly interesting things like combine notes from all 3 channels and even arpeggiate them if I want. So technically, each of these channels receives data from an individual egg, and that's converted into musical notes across a chromatic scale, where the mean value of 100, that's if you're considering it across 200 trials from each egg. So let's assume the value of 100 is associated with the key middle C. So if an egg sends a value of 105, for example, that's a difference or delta of 5 from the mean 100. And on a keyboard, if you count 5 notes chromatically starting from middle C, so this is 100, that's a 101, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that translates to the key F. It's just a very simple conversion scheme, and as I'd mentioned before in one of my earlier videos, I'd introduced a scaling multiplier, which simply multiplies the delta by a user-defined value, thereby increasing the musical range that each egg can play across. Now, in this version, what I've done is I've modified this MIDI section to allow the interpreted notes from each egg to be cycled through a range of MIDI channels. And with each channel, I can assign a completely different instrument. So as you can see here, so I have a piano, a cello, and a vibraphone, and even an arpeggiated harp. So put together, it can sound quite orchestral. So for now, just to be able to show you the difference between how it sounds with a single channel first versus multiple channels, which I'll show you later, I'm going to first route data from an egg into a single channel. So let's start this up. Let me just quickly make sure that we have all the default values in place. Okay, so here we go. And as you can see, we have data streaming in from the GCP, which has been made available by Ronaldo, another one of our GCP volunteers. So on this first channel, I have the grand piano, and this is how it sounds if I have data from only one egg flowing in. Okay, but what I can do is, as I okay, wait, first let me record this as well. Okay, so yeah, so like I was saying, what I can do is, as I start to add more connections, we will hear multiple notes from different eggs being played on the same channel. So right now what you're hearing is data from 3 different eggs being interpreted into musical notes, and they're being played as chords on this first piano channel. So that's how it sounds on a single channel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the range of the MIDI channels that I want the egg notes to be distributed to. So let me just slightly increase that to 3. And suddenly you'll hear this. Let me just increase that a bit. Increase the cello. We have the piano and the vibraphone as well. So what's happening here is the data from egg number 1 is being fed to the first piano channel, then the second egg number 37 is being fed to the second MIDI channel, which is the cello, and the third egg number 103 is being routed to the third channel here, which is the vibraphone. I'm just going to let this play out for a bit at its default speed, where we have about half a second between each note. So like this, I could add more connections and go right up to 16 channels if I want to. But from my experience, adding more than 3 to 4 channels just sounds like cacophony. So I did something a little more interesting though, with one more channel, and that's on channel number 16. So what I'm doing here is I'm feeding the notes from all 3 channels to an arpeggiator on this channel number 16, and that's an arpeggiated harp, and this is what it sounds like. Sounds beautiful and orchestral, even if it's chaotic. I'm going to decrease the delay between the notes so that it plays a little faster, and you can immediately hear the difference. Let me bring that down further to 100 milliseconds. What I'm also going to do is increase the speed of the arpeggiator. And it sounds beautiful even when it's played faster than this, so I'm going to take that to 2. And for the grand finale, what I'm going to do is introduce a virtual synthesizer to the mix. Now, I personally love how a simple running sequence from a synthesizer can sound so futuristic. And what I could do is I could feed another channel to this synthesizer alone. But what I'm going to do is force it to play along with the cello on channel number 2. And this is what it'll sound like. The reason I'm forcing it to play with the cello is because I want the synth. Set this. Yeah. So the reason I'm doing that is because I want the synth to match at least one of these instruments, and the cello always sounds like it dominates over the other instruments, and I'd like to balance it out. But I'd also like the synth to flow along with its bass-like sound on the same notes. So this is what it sounds like. I could increase the octave that it's played across, so you can hear the notes clearly. Or I could push it down further into the bass range. For now, I think I'll just leave it at 0. So that's it. This is my GCP2MIDI multi-channel setup in PureData, along with Reaper and Modular Moog from Ontario. I have many other ideas that need to be implemented, like I'd like to experiment to see how it would sound if we were to force the notes from each egg to play along certain scales. But I'm also very interested in just listening to how a process can sound with the least amount of human intervention. So that's it, folks. I'll be making this recording available in audio as well, and you can listen to it on my SoundCloud channel. Just search for SoundChilde with an E at the end. I hope you like this as much as I do. Take care and bye for now.